the prestigious forum of the Society for Endangered and Lesser Known Languages. I love this forum because I get to meet my worthy colleagues, and certainly so many young, passionate linguists. So this evening, we all have gathered here to attend For SEL by SEL series. And thank you all for your attendance, your presence. Well, this is my customary style. Each time I make an introductory note regarding the aims and objectives of SEL. Most of you know SEL was founded by Professor Kavita Rastogi in the year 2011 and was formally registered in the year 2015. So the Society for Endangered and Lesser Known Languages aims to revitalize the lesser known and endangered languages by bringing together like-minded people to document such languages, describe can you hear me?
Yes.
So SEL also makes provision for the linguists and language activists to publish their work on the lesser known indigenous languages in their bilingual, biannual, peer-reviewed e-journal called Wak Manthan. SEL also encourages and trains dedicated, passionate researchers through workshops and various online lectures. And SEL has also taken a major step in providing small financial help to those who are working on lesser known languages or oral languages in the far-flung regions of our country. From this evening, we commence the For SEL by SEL series, which consists of 4 sessions, where the members of SEL present their ongoing research and experts, who is a senior SEL member, provide them with guidelines or suggestions. This evening, our presenter is Arya Babu from the University of Hyderabad, and her topic of discussion is Life and Livelihood, an ethnographic study of tribes of Western Ghats, Kerala. And the expert of this evening is a well-acclaimed linguist, Dr. Anish Koshi, who is an associate professor and the head of the Department of Linguistics and Phonetics, School of Language Sciences at the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. He has been associated with the EFL University since 2009, before which he has also taught briefly at the University of Hyderabad. He specializes in the field of linguistic typology and aerial linguistics, with a special research focus on South Asia as a linguistic area. He has worked on the typology of clitics in the Austroasiatic languages of India for his doctoral studies at JNU New Delhi, and has published on the morphosyntax of Munda and Montmer languages. His special research interest lies in working on lesser studied languages, both from the formal perspective of their grammar as well as the socio-linguistic issues of endangerment and maintenance. As part of the English language trainers team at the EFL University, he is the program coordinator of the university's flagship program, the Postgraduate Certificate in the Teaching of English, that is PGCT, and trains teacher of English in the teaching of modern English grammar as well as English phonetics. He is also the coordinator of the International Teaching Program at the EFL University. So welcome to the forum, Dr. Koshi.
Thank you. Thank you.
I,
Good
I,
evening.
I'm indeed very, very glad to be your host. Thank you so much for making yourself available from your, from a busy schedule. Thank
I
you.
look forward to Arya's presentation today.
Thank you so much.
So Arya, you can start your presentation.
Okay, yes. So, as ma'am mentioned, I am Arya. I'm a research scholar of linguistics in the University of Hyderabad. So, thank you so much for giving opportunity to present my field experience I had in Nilambur region, Malappuram district, Kerala. So, the heading is Life and Livelihood and Ethnographic Study of Tribes of Western Ghats, Kerala. So it is a fieldwork insights which I got from my PhD journey. So this presentation is based entirely on my field experiences during PhD fieldwork, as I mentioned. The primary focus of my research is the Arnadan tribe located in the Malappuram district of Kerala. So Arnadan is a particular tribe uh, for whom there are only 283 speakers according to the 2011 census. And this presentation is especially reflecting on my lived experiences and observation from the field. So I got an opportunity to go to the field and stay with the tribal communities there for some months. So from morning to evening and the night time, I have been with the community, which gave me many life lessons, and also which academically, which gave me a lot of inspiration from the community. So, according to the 2011 census, Kerala is home to diverse tribal population spread across 36 distinct tribal communities, as noted by Kirtats. So, these tribes mainly inhabit the forested and mountainous regions of the Western Ghats, which border Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. So, I was focusing on Nilambur region, especially where there are 5 or 6 particular tribal communities residing. One is Arnadar, Kattu Naikar, Chola Naikar, Kurumar, Muduvar, and Pania. So my methods were like I was focusing on participant observation methods. I followed individual and group interviews, snowball sampling. All these methods were followed during my field visit, and my main field areas were Karulai, Vadikadavu, Urilavattam, Chokadu, Muttedam, Tikadi, Kalikavu, panchayats of Nilambur Valley, Malappuram district, Kerala. So my main objectives were to examine how socio-economic factors influence the language attitudes of tribal speakers, and to explore the motivations and values that encourage continued use of the mother tongue despite external pressures, and to understand the role of education, livelihood, and social mobility in shaping linguistic choices within the community, and to identify the cultural and emotional factors that contribute to language retention or shift. So, insight from the literature, I am pointing out 3 main literature. From like one is by Ali CA. The heading is Festival as a Source for Reconstructing Tribal Ethnohistory, the Nilambur Part. The Nilambur Part means the Nilambur song. So this paper mainly explores the establishment of Nilambur Kovilagam in the 13th century AD by the Eradi royal family from Nedirippu. So until 18th century, it remained under the control of the Samudiris of Calicut. And this paper highlights that the Kovilagam played a significant role in the history of the tribal communities in the region. So the deity's name is Vettakurumagan, which is not a royal deity actually, which is a tribal deity. So the annual festival in this particular temple, Vettakurumagan temple, provided a common space for tribal people to gather there in that time. And this paper also suggests that this gathering was a strategic move by the royal family to exercise the influence over the tribal communities and to collect forest goods offered to the deity as gift. So there are no any other way to put control over the tribal peoples. So they annually conducted this particular festival in the months of January and February. All the tribals were warmly received by the royal family and were granted special ritual privileges throughout the festival. So such privileges we can't see in other temples or festivals, and we can't see the tribal people following any other caste or tribes gods as well. So the royal family recognized the importance of tribal support for forest access and for agrarian expansion together, agrarian workers from the tribal people, and for animal rearing. So the installation of these tribal deities actually helped them to get the power over the tribal people. So expansion of the Nilambur Kovilagam led to displacement of indigenous tribal population from their traditional habitats, and tribal groups were enslaved and became bonded laborers. So the Panier tribe was the majority among them. But Panier tribe is mostly seen in Wayanad district of Kerala. The socio-economic transformation also encouraged settlements of communities such as the Maplas, Tiyas, Nayars in the region to come and settle in the region. So the expansion of the agrarian jobs or the deforestation and transforming the forest area into agrarian soil just attracted many other community people to come into the area and settle there, which gradually led the communities to go inside the forest, a deep forest. So next paper is Sida Kakota paper. Um, one second. Leadership at the 11th hour, dynamics of leadership in a vanishing hunter-gatherer community of South India. So the study was conducted in the Cherupada Vallikettu tribal settlements, especially in the Arnadan community. So at that time, the settlement included 7 closely related families under the leadership of a Chemmakaran. Chemmakaran means headman, and Chemmam means their house. So this area is now located among non-tribal population. The community have frequent interaction with outsiders, and Arnadan people, especially individuals, were often employed as wage laborers by non-tribal residents. And also they won't give money as wage. They will also trade everything for alcohol or some other harmful, instead of they will trade some harmful things, alcohol or tobacco, to the tribal people and make advantage of them. So in the 1990s, the state government's local governance program introduced social activists into the tribal life. These activists, later known as tribal promoters, began engaging with the community in the name of development. So the position of Chemakaram was traditionally hereditary, often passed from father to son, but it is not very strict. It is mainly the Chamakara, the headman will be the man who knows all the rules of the community, who knows about medical care, who is very wise in the among the community. So the government granted ownership rights to the community, but only a small portion of the Chemam land was formally recognized. Now they hold only 3.5 cents of land, and they can't form a Chemmam, or they can't find a Chemmakaran within that Chemmam locality. So large areas of the traditional land remained unprotected, leading to encroachment by the non-tribals into the area. The loss of land led to resource constraints, pushing the younger generation into wage laborers. So the Chamakaran system has now disappeared whole, and the community lives in government constructed settlements in the Karalai and Vaikadava areas. So the community members still follow seasonal migration patterns, entering forest to collect resources and returning after several days or months. So they basically collect what is meant for them only. Like the Arnadan people traditionally collect a particular kind of mushrooms or particular kind of medicinal plants from the forest, which is only meant for them traditionally. By their ancestors. So the Cholanaka tribe, for example, they will collect what is meant for them only. So I was reading a particular paper from Malayalam University by Lijisha based on Cholanaka, in which she was saying that if there are 4 eggs, they will take only 2 eggs, saying that the other 2 eggs are for the mother. Baki ammak, that is what they say. So they don't have that concept of owning everything in their surroundings. They don't own anything. Like they will share whatever they have. They have that insight in them not to exploit the natural surroundings there. And the seasonal migration still happening. So according to the rainy season, they will go into the forest and they will collect mushrooms. So the Arnada community just call the mushrooms as koone. Even Kartanaika community call it koone. Cholanaka community just call it as kuchan. So this mushrooms might be the only one thing they will be having in a day. So as a researcher, I was staying with them. I was also going into the forest with them, and some days we don't get anything to eat. Like we don't, they don't preserve things which they get from the forest. They will get what they want daily only. They will collect whatever they are getting daily, and they will consume it in the night by sharing with all the neighbors and all. So some days the elephants attacks will happen, tigers will be there. So it won't be possible to collect any goods from the mushrooms or the roots or plants, edible plants from the forest. So life is at a very risk there, I would say. Another paper is demographic profile of an autochthonous tribe, the Arnadan of Kerala. So she identified Arnada as the smallest scheduled tribe communities in Kerala, which only have 254 members with the 128 males and 126 females. So literacy rate in the community is 21.26% only. So out of 56 recorded couples, 16 are Arnadan, non-Arnadan marriages happening now. So the education is happening mainly under the ITDP, Integrated Tribal Development Project. So the students are forcefully sometimes are put in residential schools, and they from first standard to seventh standard they are studying there, in which most of the teachings are done in Malayalam or in some other languages which the students can't follow at first. So in the coming back to this paper, exogamy may be linked to low sex ratio and difficulty finding suitable partners within the community. See the notes down here. And community overall health status is below average compared to the general population. So it is saying that in the comparing to the Cholanaka community, who is still residing in the caves in the Nilambur Valley, comparing to them, the overall health status of the Arnadan community is below average, even comparing to them. So she is also noting that family planning practices adopted by both men and women have contributed to the small population size. So this might be a new information, I guess. The people, it is not possible for the government to introduce this concept of family planning into the tribes. So reproduction is the major concept of family setting among them. And it is saying that from my field, I come to know that a bucket, a cup, and 500 rupees were given for whom they did the family planning practices. So that's what encouraged them to do the family planning during that time. And my observations regarding this regarding the literature and my field work, there are no chemmam anymore, as I said. So there are no chemmakaran either. The chemmakaran was a wise and respected person, as I mentioned, among the community, but such roles no longer exist. The traditional way of living as a close knit community has also changed. Today, most Arnadan people, I would say, live in areas like Karalai and Cherupura settlements. They now stay in government built buildings, settlements which were not designed to match their earlier way of life. Earlier, they followed a hamlet style living. If a father had 4 children or 5 children, they would all live close together in a hut within the same area. But the government built houses are scattered, which has weakened their family bonds and community life as well. And also, when I went to this field, I can see that many, I don't know if this word is politically correct, illegitimate children were there whose fathers are from Muslim community or Tiya community or Nai community, Christian community in that same village. So this is also making a identity crisis for the youngsters in their school, and also coming into the mainstream. And transformation of forest areas into teak plantations impacted these communities negatively. So this whole area, especially in the Vadikadavu and Cherupura, the Nilambur itself is very famous for teak plantations. Nilambur teak is very famous. So the teak plantation around Nilambur played a major role in changing the lives of the tribal communities. These plantations were created by cutting the natural forest and bamboo grows. So for the tribal people, bamboo acted as a protective barrier against wild animals. So the loss of these natural surroundings affected their way of life. As tech plantation expanded, people from other communities like Muslims, Nair, Christians began to settle in the area. Some tribal groups moved deeper into the forest to adjust to these changes, while others like Arnadan tried to adapt by shifting to semi-rural areas. But in these new spaces, they struggle to find sense of belonging. This change especially affected the younger generation, leading to confusion and a crisis identity and language and connection. While Malayalam could induce feelings of disadvantage among the speaker, Arnadan speakers especially uh, felt really comfortable talking in some other tribal languages than speaking Malayalam. And tribal migration or tribal migration also affected negatively. The migration of non-tribal people into the region led to exploitation with the dealers, often communicating in Arnadan but offering unfair trade deals. So the exploitation increased by a communication gap. So there is a gap because these people will be using their hand gestures, their body gestures, just to trade whatever they have collected from the forest, just for a spoon of salt or some grains or some rice. And the lack of privileges for the Arnada community and other communities. So they bartered their products and received unvalued products. And the main problem was the communication, which they say. So traditionally, their histories, their stories, everything is orally communicated face to face through face to face interaction. So there are no scripts for Arnada languages or this Kartanaika Bhasha or any other tribal languages other than Paniya. So when I went to this field, I can see that this internet is very accessible for the new generation Gen Z youngsters. So this media expansion lead to shift a cultural and linguistic practices as well, which is which was so visible among them. So now they are learning English and they are learning to pronounce properly in Malayalam. even though they are speaking in Malayalam, there will be their mother tongue's influence in that. So now they started talking fluent in Malayalam, like the Malayalam speakers itself. So this exposure to Malayalam and English might be the reason through the mobile phones or through other internet spaces. So which is very positive, we can say, but in which way they don't find any need to learn their own mother tongue sometimes. So as I said, the media offers opportunity for representation, but also reinforces harmful stereotypes, which I observed. So there are two movies which were so famous in Malayalam. One is Bamboo Boys, which was released in 2002, and Ayappanum Koshim, which was recently released a few years ago, 2022. And Bamboo Boys was explicitly ridiculing the tribal community culture, and Ayappanum Koshim portrayed the tribal culture in a more radical or violent. The tribal people who speaks out, or who speaks for their right, they have been portrayed in a very radical or violent manner in the movies, especially in these two movies, I would say. So and also when we go into the social medias, we can see that trend. I'm talking about social medias especially because the youngsters are now they can use internet, so this is influencing them. So the mother tongue users of this generation is these youngsters who are in 11th or 12th standards. So these people are not getting any inspiration to learn their mother tongue. That's what they see. So when we go to the social medias as well, we can see many abusive new terms, new abusive words in Malayalam. Which is basically caste or gender based, and also which is based on the settlements. So there is a particular word in most of the comment section which I noticed, colony. So colony is one of the word which is used as abusive word in Malayalam. And kannapi, ridiculing their names in the comment section, calling someone names like they are tribal people, calling them you are a tribe, say, meaning that tribes are not good, they are not civilized in that manner. So, and then I observe the language barriers that these people facing in the schools. Like most of the residential school, most of the students go to the residential schools under ITDP. So they are feeling of there is a feeling of alienation in between them. So the teachers will be especially from the southern part of Kerala, which they speak very structured Malayalam, and so these people are going from their home. Their mother tongue is very different. They are going to their residential schools in the age of 6, and they have to learn Malayalam, they have to learn English, they have to learn Hindi, they have to learn Arabic or Sanskrit as optional. So this language barrier is they have to learn all these languages as well as in order to communicate in the classroom or with the teachers. They don't have any other options just to follow or try to talk in the dominant language being imposed there. And concluding my points, the for making the people speakers more interested in their own mother tongue, the whole power to improve all these negative condition is vested in the government only. So while planning development projects, the government should also consider the way tribal communities live and where they are settled. So as I said earlier, these communities live as a group. So they don't scatter themselves and go and live somewhere. But when the government built settlements for these people, they will give house in one settlement, and they will give house for the other son in some other settlements. So the communities are being scattered, and they are sharing the food in the end of the day is not happening. The talk is not happening. They are not meeting some days because they have to find something just for the survival of the day. They just have to eat something. So that survival is quite tough among these people. So inspiring such. Yes, sir. Hello?
No, please carry on. Arya, please carry on. No problem.
Okay. So the tribal communities see the world in a very different way. So the idea of development of the Kerala government or the state is very different. So many of them do not fully understand the changes in the education system or why new settlements are being made in the name of development. They don't find why the settlements are being made, built in the inside the forest or in the other tribal areas. And also in a scattered manner, which is not engaging or which is not respecting their emotionality behind their livelihood and their way of life and their way of collecting food, their way of prayer and everything. So the government should deeply understand the lifestyle and need of these communities and plan development accordingly. Only then there can be a proper balance between development and the community's way of life. So the government should take the initiative to ensure proper engagement in the classroom teaching as well. They should appoint speakers from the community in schools to create a more positive and supportive learning environment for tribal students. So I can see the most of the tribal people are appointed as forest guards. So the matter with the forest guards is they will be living inside the deep forest in the government built quarters where there will be their children, 7 or 8 children, or with their wife. But the problem is they can't go to the school or they can't go outside of that area because of the threats from the wild animals and other natural calamities. So it is as from my part, I ask them what do you need? What do you people need? So each tribal communities, for such as Cholanaika, Katanaika, Arnadar, Pania, they all replied different kind of things. Arnadar are now leading a semi-rural life. Most of them work in agrarian sectors as well as industrial sectors. They were asking that we have only 3.5 cents of land. Where will we bury ourselves? So they need land. They need land for cultivation as well as more land. They are saying, and they need jobs. But most of the dropout rates among the students of tribal communities in Nilambur are also very high. So this language barrier is also one of the main reason which I observed. So this is the main factors which I observe. So Arnada is talking about the land and the jobs. Now they are seeing the other people's lives. So they know that, okay, we have some rights like this. But there are still some people living inside the deep forest from the colonial time itself due to the teak plantation or the Nilambur Kovilayam establishment, which forcefully result, which were forceful migration of these communities into the deep forest, into the caves. So these people, when I asked, what do you want? These people just said that we just want rice. So during every first month of, in every month, first Wednesday, the government officials with the rations, they will go inside the deep forest. So there is a common place like which is called as Manjeri. So they will distribute the rations. So some people were not getting enough rice. Some families, some people were still standing there for some rice because especially it was a rainy season. There were increase in the number of elephants in the area, so they were not able to collect forest goods and sell it. And also, as a researcher, uh, my concern ethically how I should approach the community, because the experiences I had from the field is very different. Like for example, I went with one of my friend and these people were going to stay inside the forest with Cholanaika friends, people from Cholanaika community. And we just were making fun of my friend, like, what will happen if some elephants will attack him or her? So the speakers from Cholanaika said that they know how to climb the tree like a monkeys. So they will somehow manage to escape from the elephant. But elephant might attack my friend. That's what they said, and we laughed. But few months before, I got the news that one of the speaker, which I saw that day, one of the Cholanaika participant, my participant was died from this elephant attack. So this socio-economic things is first thing which we have to look at in order to encourage them to talk in their mother tongue, to give the confidence. It is not patronizingly, but inclusivity is not done yet here, I would say. So sorry. So these are some readings which I did, and these are some photos. So this is one of my participants. It is with her I was staying. Her name is Chida. So these are all her, like she take care of all these gods like her own children. And it is the take plantation we can see. So in this area, they can't collect anything. They have to go deep inside the forest. So these are some officers going in the bike there. So none of the tribes are allowed to go inside the forest in bikes or any other vehicles other than jeeps. This is all take plantations, deforestation, which I observed. And these are the Karalai Panchayat government built settlements. And this is the bridge which the Cholanaika community built from one rock, one hill mountain to the other. So that's my brief
So that's wonderful,
experience
very,
from the
very
field.
interesting presentation, Arya, and such wonderful landscape. Dr. Koshi, your comments and suggestions for Arya.
So as I am working on Arnadan community, and so I was staying with them, and most of my findings are based on them. And I'm so happy to see you again. I have met you before. I have discussed my research topic with you before also. I'm so happy to present in front of you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Arya. It was a wonderful presentation, and I think you have brought out some very, very interesting insights on the Arunadan community, and also some issues that I think are not so easy for us to really take a final call on. For example, when we talk about the use of technology by the young speakers of the community, and uh, how they use it, and how it could be eventually detrimental to the maintenance of their own mother tongues. Uh, I think we have to take it in a very broader sense, in the sense that it is true for all communities. It's not just something that affects, let's say, smaller tribal endangered communities, but it's a problem that's going to affect even mainstream communities. I mean, while the world has celebrated bilingualism and multilingualism, I think it is also our lived experience that even people who speak mainstream languages, languages recognized by governments today, they also have intergenerational loss of language. Even if it's a Hindi speaking family or a Malayalam speaking family, the children don't have the kind of range of vocabulary that their grandparents had, because the grandparents were mostly monolingual. And children and grandchildren, as they have now been exposed to multiple languages, their repertoire has been all mixed up, because they don't have to struggle to find a Hindi word or a Malayalam word. If they know the English word, they can survive. So this problem of technology going to affect the question of language preservation is something which is very broad.
Yes.
And I think uh, we need not put them alone in this, what do I call it, the word in English, for further interrogation in terms of loss of language, etc. But the other factors that you presented are very, very interesting. How land, the livelihood that you talk about, is significant, all in terms of life and the land, because the communities also, these are mostly hunter-gatherer communities, if I understand them
Not
well.
hunters, not
No more?
hunters. Only
No more, or
Cholanaika.
they were never?
There were never hunters. Like Cholanaika are the hunters.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So these have been the more settled community, but then I'm surprised by the small piece of 3.5 cents of land that they have, because I could understand with the Cholanaikan community. One of my research scholars worked on Cholanaikan, Priyanka. So uh, with them, probably land was not a big issue because they were going to
Free.
anyway get things from the
Yeah.
forest.
Yeah.
But for an agrarian community, if this is, even though they are, as you said, the smallest tribal community in Kerala, that land is not enough. And the effect that you very, very beautifully presented of, government settlements. I was reminded of my supervisor, Professor Anvita B's work in the Andaman Islands, where she often told us about the plight of the Jaravas, who were moved out of their forest dwelling and given government settlements where they lived in government built houses like strangers because they identify nothing with these houses. And I mean, it may not
Yes.
be happening with the Arunadan community, but in the Jarawa case, they were also supplied with food, and food that is so mainstream like rice and dal, to a community that was hunter gatherer. And so these dynamics of government's goodwill, so to speak, because as you very rightly said, if there is anything that is going to happen with these communities positively, it has to be through government's interventions, because individuals can do their research, individuals can point out things, but at the end of the day, we know how the Nilambur area is completely governed and controlled by the government, with permits and so many other things that are involved, even to go to see the tribes. It's not so easy to meet the tribes
Yes.
in this region, like it is, let's say, for mainland India, where one could go to the Kuruks or to the Gonds and to the Bhils and talk to them, do research. So there is so much of government control
Yes.
with respect to even the access that outsiders
Yes.
can have
Yes.
uh, to do even any meaningful research.
Yes.
And then the government, of course, also puts restrictions on what
Yes.
you can say and what you cannot
Yes.
say, what you can publish and what you cannot publish after you enter their regions, because you may escape with your publication, but no future researchers would ever be then allowed to go and meet them if you did not meet the
Yeah.
government demand. So, the government is totally controlling of the narrative there.
Yes.
And uh, for whatever positive or negative reasons. But the point that you made with respect to how much the government is to be responsible for any changes that can happen to these communities is very well made and well taken. And I think in that context, you also presented how very well meaningly the government might have made these houses for them to stay. But the fact that these houses were made without any consultations with the tribes, without taking the tribal way of life into account, built in different locations where the tribes no more get the opportunities to talk. These are communities, as you very beautifully said, communities that don't, store. These are communities that only gather for the day, who only take what they need, not to make money out of selling them or for storing them for tomorrow, because these are not people who worry about tomorrow like we do probably. But in their community setup, then it is very certain that whatever they bring, they share together.
Yes.
Like you said, they also shared it with you, and then if there was not enough, everybody takes the cut, so to speak. So putting them in these distant locations where their way of life is affected, their opportunities to talk are affected, is indeed a very major concern that we would have as a society that is worried about the endangerment of this language. I mean, also because this school that you mentioned is
Sir, it is not audible.
Dr. Anish, we cannot hear.
you talked about, even Sanskrit and Arabic, for that matter. I mean, which not even people who live in the mainstream society have to learn so many languages. But and of all things, the deepest cut is the fact that they cannot use their language. They have to learn everyone else's language to communicate with them, but they cannot use their language. So that school is a modern attempt, is an attempt to bring them to mainstream, because everything we talk about tribal communities cannot also be in terms of romanticizing their old life, because every community today wants change and development, more so when they are exposed to technology. So we cannot today expect the young populations of these communities who are exposed to now the whole world outside thanks to the internet, to go back to their old ways of life, to live on those 3.5 cents of land by farming, etc. So things have to change. They will get exposed to modern ways of living, and I suppose that school is the site for the government to bring about these changes. But we are all aware of how that setting where their mother tongue is not encouraged, their mother tongue is not spoken, and then where do these children actually get the opportunities to speak their languages? Because schools will not permit them to use their languages, and even if they spoke their languages, the problem is also how the outside communities perceive their languages. It's the way for a long time how the different Bihari languages like Bhojpuri, Magai, etc., were perceived by Hindi speakers, who never thought of these languages as different languages, but only thought of them as some kind of reduced, broken, corrupt form of Hindi, and therefore a matter of ridicule. Something similar happens to these communities also, because their languages are very closely aligned to Tamil and Malayalam, of course, because it's that linguistic continuum where they also live. Uh, but the problem with Tamil speakers and the problem with Malayalam speakers would be that when they hear these speakers use their language, they don't perceive of them as a different language speakers, or speakers speaking a different language, but they perceive of them as speaking some kind of a broken form of the mainstream language. So because the vocabulary, lexical items, at least 70% of would sound like Malayalam or Tamil, the speakers are very likely to perceive that they don't know how to speak, and those negative perceptions do play a very, very important role, especially in the minds of the younger population, who actually need to kind of grapple with these issues. So I must congratulate you for a wonderful study that you have done, how you have weaved together, the socio-economic problem, the wage economy problems, the problem of having not enough land. The 3.5 cents of land, as you rightly said, is probably only good enough for them to bury their dead. Where do they do the rest of the things that they need to do? So I think congratulations for a wonderful study, and thank you for enlightening all of us
Thank
with
you so
a
much.
wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you.
Vishaka, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions from the audience? So I'm sure, Arya, you are so much benefited by this presentation, and
Yes, yes.
you will actually, you will get to take forward your
Yes.
research in a very robust manner.
Right.
Any questions from the audience, or I would like to ask something?
Yes.
Because you are doing an ethnographic study. What do you have in your mind, like, to preserve the indigenous knowledge, the record, the cultural lexicon, or creation with what kind of things you?
So my journey started like So I am from a community called Mannad. So I have this inside my mind that so I have heard from my grandmother that we had a language.
Oh,
Okay, so there is one other particular community. So we are scheduled caste, by the way, and there is another particular caste, Paraya. These people also had a particular language. Then I was like, what happened to these languages? So I was just observing. So the Paraya language was like a secret language which they used, and I started collecting data from that, and it was not able to collect. Then I was focusing, but there are languages with less speakers. So what is their thriving factor to still use the language? So I entered into the field like without any framework of anything. I just approached the community. I just went for the pilot study first. Then I started living with them. I started waking up with them, sleeping with them, everything with them. And I was just focusing on the tribal communities, how their life is. Then I
oh,
find out that these factors are there. So these people are fighting with elephants every day. So they are fighting for their survival. And also and we are looking at the UNESCO's 9 factors of language uh, saving factors and everything, and we are talking about these tribal languages also, and these people here are just trying to survive there one day. And when I entered into their society, I find out that uh, there are two main factors which is still inspiring them. One is their relationship with the grandparents. So the kinship is one thing which I observed. That's why the settlements, when they scatter the settlements, there is a building of loose family structures. So their identity is all formed in such a way from grandparents, parents. Like they will walk inside the forest. Like I am not saying that they have to walk inside the forest the whole time. Like I don't want them to be there inside the forest. It is not safe. But but I'm saying that the knowledge, the medicinal knowledge, and the stories of people and the stories they are saying. I met there is once I met this Chira grandma, Chira mama. She got pregnant from outsiders when she was 13 years old, and she lost her child from an elephant attack. She jumped into an elephant pit actually, and she was there for days, and she can only speak this language. And I was like, what in what she's trying to communicate in Malayalam and trying to narrate all these stories with me, because we are now best friends, we are like best friends. So she is actually narrating all her stories. So I was like, this story should be, it should be there. So for that, at least the language should be there. And I won't say that there should be someone in the school system. I would say that there should be someone from their community, just to make them inclusive, just to make them comfortable emotionally, mentally, there in the school, at least in the LP level, no matter what
yeah,
their educational qualification is. And the one
yes,
factor which I observed is that the connection with the nature. So there are through two ways they are continuing their strict language rules, strict language words. It is through kinship and it is through nature,
so
ecological
you have a
knowledge.
question, Arya.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. This is Monali asking you, what is the attitude of the neighboring communities towards the Aranan, Aranadans?
Another.
Is there any local support, example, health and other amenities? Monali, you can also ask if you have any other questions.
Ma'am, I would
Uh,
say that
yeah,
and
the only question I have at the moment, I have countless questions, but this will do for now.
Yeah. So, what is the attitude of the neighboring?
attitude. So Kerala society whole has a attitude of um, like negative attitude to the other speakers, I would say. Especially if you are from other states, we will like very negative. If you are from other districts, southern Kerala, northern Kerala, That attitudes are already there. Then the caste come, then the tribes come. So you know what? These people are like, so this mother tongue, for Arnada speakers, the mother tongue is very different, which is very related to Tamil or Kannada bhasha. And these people try, whenever they try to speak in Malayalam, there will influence of their mother tongue. So the people will gradually ridicule these people. If they are sitting in a particular classroom, if they try to speak in particular, like they will be like, why you are pronouncing it like this? You don't have to pronounce it is like this. Like we Malayalis have this, correcting the pronunciation always. This Malayalis always love to do that, even in the classroom settings or every social media platforms everywhere. So this correcting some people's pronunciation, first I would say we can see the attitudes of the outsiders. They are not very happy to share their neighborhood, even though they share a smile with them, or they will call for some daily wage labor works in their surroundings, to clean their field or to cut the plants or something, some jobs like that. But the schools, what the schools are doing that, if they don't provide any speakers, mother tongue speakers from this community, they are producing more workers. These people are going to be in the forest only, because that's the only place they are not being judged, and these youngsters are going to stay in the forest only. So I met a Cholanaika kid who was in 11th standard, who went to a different school, not from the residential, not he didn't went to the residential school. So one day he was the only child got dragged there in the school, and they took all of his clothes. He was tied in the toilet, and they just put the blade in the toilet and asked him to take that from the toilet, and he got scared. This kid was got scared, and the whole police and all the people, all the activists was searching for him, and he was in the school toilet only. This is the experience these people are facing. So this
Yeah.
kid stopped going to school. This kid told me that I'm not going to school. I don't want to go. And he was fishing there inside the deep forest. He was, he just went to fishing. So I'm just saying that the socio-economic, the basic factors, if they don't provide a good speaker from these communities, not looking at the qualification, if they pass 10th or 12th or anything, without looking at the qualification of the speakers who can speak nicely, there should be training for such speakers from all these communities, and they should be appointed in schools. Then only it will be inclusive. Then only we will get educated people from these communities. Otherwise, the inclusivity is not happening. More people are going back to forest. Even I felt really relaxed in the forest instead of watching.
Arya, just to add to Dr. Monali's question, I mean, you have talked about the attitude of the neighboring community in the sense of the mainstream Malayali community as such. But if you also try to look at it from the other perspective, you talked about there being multiple tribal communities itself there in the region. So
Yes,
there are
yes, yes.
Katanakars, there are
Cholanaika.
Aranadans, Cholanakars, Paniyars, etc. So how is their interaction? Do they support each other? Do they come together? Because they
Yes.
have a common cause to fight for after all. So
They
do they
don't
come
find
together?
common. It is not like they don't know the need to fight for a common cause actually. So when they go inside the forest, they will meet the other tribes. There will be Paniya. So when we go to take bath in the river, there will be other tribal communities. So the Arnada people, the grandmothers or the grandparents, they can speak Paniya language. They can speak Cholanaika Bhasha. They can speak Katanaika Bhasha. They will understand that. And one of the participants said that they are more comfortable talking in tribal languages than Malayalam.
That should be very, I think, obvious. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that inclusivity is there, that comfort level is there,
Do
and
they also exchange goods and take care of each other? Let's say, for example, health and other amenities that Dr. Monali is
no
talking.
Chola, no, it
They
is
don't.
not. No, that
So
is
all of them are basically directly dependent on the government.
yes. As I said, Cholana for the Cholanaika inside the deep forest there are some settlements, but they don't live in that settlements.
Hmm.
Government built settlements. There were only two families there, so all other people are living deep inside the forest. So basic thing is I observed is this.
Yeah, I just want to add up with that. I want to know how many days have you actually worked with these people?
6 months.
6 months. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand the 6 months. Of course, you did research, but how many days did you actually stay with them?
I actually stayed with them 6 months. I got permission
Six.
from the government, like for
Oh,
6 months only. So I was staying in the Karalai with the one of participants.
right. So basically, what I understand is that the attitude of the neighboring communities is not negative but neutral, right? That is what I understand. Because when I say neighboring communities, I'm also talking about the other tribal communities who stay nearby. Are you getting me? Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. I think Arya has lost connection.
Yeah,
But
because
let's wait for a minute.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it wasn't clear at that timing because I wasn't targeting the Malayalam community here. I was meaning to say the neighboring tribal communities. So
All right.
yeah,
Yeah, I understand. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I kind of brought her back to that
Uh,
question, not the Malayali community, but the other communities.
yeah.
so should we wait for 2 minutes and then I think she has already spoken her whatever she has.
There's a general question from somebody there, I suppose,
Yeah.
not
It's
directed at Arya. Anyone can answer that question, I suppose.
structure of Malayalam, Hindi, Tamil, Sanskrit.
Where are you from, Nen Langdi? Are you from India or?
I'm come from Cambodia, sir.
Oh,
Okay.
so you can say that. Answer.
So then, no, these languages are not same or similar in the sense because they belong to different language families. Malayalam and Tamil are of the same family. They have a lot of similarities. They are South Dravidian languages. So they're not just Dravidian languages, but also South Dravidian languages that kind of make them very similar. Hindi and Sanskrit are generational relation languages in the sense that Hindi is a modern language. A daughter, maybe granddaughter or great granddaughter of Sanskrit. So they are also connected. Sanskrit, of course, has a lot of importance, cultural importance in India, because it is the language of the great Hindu religious tradition of India. So, and this is a religious tradition that is followed in the north, the south, the east, and the west. So there is a great likelihood of Sanskrit vocabulary being adopted into languages which may have nothing to do with Sanskrit otherwise in terms of a genetic relationship. So you will find a lot of Sanskrit vocabulary in Malayalam and other Dravidian languages for that matter. But structurally, if you're asking that question, they are not similar because they are not from the same genetic stock. I hope that answers your question, Landy.
Oh, yes, I got it, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, Arya is back, so you can
Yeah.
be.
So Arya, the question from Dr. Monali, is she's asking about what is the attitude of the neighboring tribal communities. So that is the question.
As I said, they say hi, and they just like for the marriages. If it is for a marriage, they won't agree to that kind of relationships. But and they just find these people as socially lower class, and but they share a common space as well.
Are you saying there is a hierarchy
So this
among
is
the
also
tribes?
affect
Is there a
social.
hierarchy among the tribes?
Yeah. Historically there were hierarchy existed. The hierarchy existed like Chola Naika or Kati Naika. They were altogether called Naikar, sorry, like the kings of the land. Like among the tribal communities, there are hierarchies,
Okay.
but which is not followed now.
You also mentioned that they do have a lot of endogamous marriages outside their community, right?
Yeah.
Who are they marrying then, if it is not with the other tribes?
It is from the Tia communities it is like illegitimate kind of relationships. Actually, there is no kind of marriage system followed, but it is more like living with the partner for some time, and like they will get conceive from them. It is like loose family structure.
But that could be part of their traditional practice, or did they always have institutionalized marriage?
They always had the that license, especially the women. Especially the women had the had the power to choose the partner. But yeah, so that is
But
the
like choose the partner
Also
in
they
what
are
sense?
choosing their partners only. Now also they are choosing their partner from outside the caste, but which is not socially agreed sometimes, because that father's family might be in the same panchayat, but they don't accept the child like that. Loose family structures, I would say.
So any more questions? Any more questions, suggestions for Arya? Dr. Anish?
No, I think I've already told.
Okay, then thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Anish, I'm so glad to meet you. Thank you.
Same here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We've been wanting to meet, but this is
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it
yeah.
finally.
Only telephonic. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
nice
And
to see you.
Kavita madam is
Hello,
also there.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Fresco is here.
Can I?
Thank
Hello.
you. Just wanted to thank Professor Anish for accepting our invitation and joining us as an expert. Thank you, Anish ji. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much, Kavita ma'am, for including me in this. It was a delight and a pleasure to be here today.
So,
Thank you so much.
So bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
all the best, Arya.
Thank you so
All
much,
the
ma'am.
best,
Thank you. See you again, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Arya.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank
hi.
you.
Thank you.